Hello everybody, this is Cadoink here at CadoinkStudios, and I have another replay for you today. StarCraft 2 replay between two very good players, or at least one very good. The other one seemed quite good in this game, but I've never heard of him before. We have EmpireHappy spawning as the Yellow Terran against SafariZerg. So like I said before, I've never heard of Safari. I assume he is a European player because I assume Happy is playing on the Europe server. Happy is he's currently the #1 player in Europe as far as the ladder is concerned, I believe. I checked SC2 ranks yesterday and he was #1 for Europe. So he is quite a good Terran player, laddering all the time. I don't actually think this is a ladder game, however, because he is yellow. And so anyway, we have Happy spawning in the bottom left of Antigua Shipyard, while his opponent Safari is spawning in the top right as the blue Zerg on Antigua Shipyard. So yeah, we'll see what kind of things we get from both players. We do see a early refinery for Happy, this refinery coming down at 11 or 12, opting to get that refinery before he gets this barracks. This is very interesting. I've been doing kind of something opposite. I've been putting off my refinery till 15 in order to allow me to get an earlier expansion, right around the 4 or 5 minute mark. And so this kind of would lead me to believe that he would be going some sort of mech play, or maybe even an early Reaper harass, seeing as he got this gas so early. But we'll have to see what he does with that. While Safari is opting to get that early expansion, just now getting his pool here at around 16, 15, something like that. Doing some good Overlord scouting, making sure that his opponent isn't spawning there, which would be close air, I believe. Close-ish air. I guess closer air than here. Antigua Shipyard is kind of an interesting shape. I kind of like it. We do see a factory going down as well as a reactor, so it will be a double Hellion sort of build. It looks like he just got enough gas to get that reactor as soon as he could. This is kind of an interesting timing, getting that really early refinery, getting 50 gas, and then pulling off workers in order just to get this reactor, because you'll need the extra minerals for the amount of Hellions he's building. And Safari has just now finished his expansion. Going to be getting a queen up as well as a spine crawler, hopefully to do some defending. Happy scouting his base, making sure there isn't anything too crazy going on, making sure he can use his little Hellion harassment. The spawning pool is done, and we don't see any gas for SafariZerg, so we won't see any Zergling speed coming out. And we won't see any roaches or anything like that for a while, just sticking to Zerglings and drones and queens and spine crawlers. I believe this is sort of a Spanishiwa kind of style. Vasant, who I did some casts with before, and I will continue to be working with him in the future on CadoinkStudios, tends to like this sort of play where he delays his gas for a while and gets up a very strong economy as well as a lot of Zerglings. However, it will be vulnerable to this kind of Hellion harassment here in the beginning of the game. As long as he can get around the spine crawlers, Happy will be able to do a good bit of damage. And we do see 2 queens as well as a spine crawler. But Safari being very active and very good with his queens, making sure, knowing that the Hellions can pop up there, but he does lift the spine crawler up, and that gives him enough time to come around. But another queen spawns at the same time, and they start picking off the Hellions. One of the Hellions really close to being dead, but Happy maneuvering it quite well. Picking off a few drones, and 2 more Hellions come in the way. 1 Hellion kind of distracting the queens while the 2 come in from behind, try to pick off more drones. They do pick off another drone, as well as some Zerglings that have come up to try to do some damage as well. Safari is doing a pretty good job at holding this with 3 queens and a spine crawl, and Happy is going to have to move away with just 1 Hellion, but he is waiting for a few more. Looks like he's going to be continuing to push, and seems like he's done building Hellions for the time being. Happy, whose spine crawler, or Safari's whose spine crawler is out of position, allows Happy to get into the base and kills 3 drones. 3 more drones. Hellion's doing a lot of damage, moving up into the main. A 4th queen spawning to try to do some damage, but he is going to be able to get some more drone kills before it's too late, getting 2 more. He's going to be able to get more than that unless these queens are able to protect him. Now he's trying to pick up queens with the Hellions, and all the Hellions are really low health. health. Looks like he's probably done enough damage. If we look in the units lost tab, we do see it is 800 resources lost for Safari, while only 300, so 3 Hellions lost for Happy. Pretty good for Happy. Picking off a lot of drones like that is going to do a lot of damage. He's going to try to get one more, which he does get, and he does even get a final one, and his Hellion with only 2 health is probably going to have to leave. Maybe being able to pick off one more. Yes, he does. Wow, what a hero Hellion. And we can see 1,000 minerals lost to 600 minerals. Very nice for Happy, putting on that pressure, kind of throwing Safari off and doing some damage. And during that time, he was able to get up 2 command centers, looking like he's going to be taking his natural as well as a third. And then he put that barracks back on the reactor, so now he's going to be pumping out Marines 2 at a time, as well as getting that ever so important stem. And we do finally see metabolic boost coming out for the Zerg player. He has gotten his gas geyser up, and he's also building hatchery as well as 2 evo chambers to get some upgrades, as well as continue the Zergling production. No other tech structures in the way. Might be thinking about getting a lair, or maybe teching up to roaches, but I foresee maybe a Baneling Muta kind of play that seems to be very good against Terran. It's very good against me, I can tell you that. If you guys are out there and you see me on the ladder, go a lot of Banelings and I'll have a lot of trouble. A lot of creep tumors on the way, but that's very good because he did have 4 queens to defend. In fact, we do see 2 in his base, 1 for this extra hatchery, and then 2 in his nat, and so this 1 in his nat is producing a lot of creep tumors, so he will have very good creep spread early on in the game. That's kind of one of the benefits of building queens. It's kind of this like, well, I built the queens in order to defend against the Hellions. How can I extend its purpose? How can I use it a little better? And the answer is to put down more spine crawlers, put down more creep tumors and get the creep spread you need and get the vision. Maybe even get some transfuses off if you need it, like if you need it on this spine crawler, or if you had any bigger units. Perhaps queens transfusing other queens, that would be very good. We do see Happy finally has taken his natural, and he is getting the double engineering bay as well as double gas quite early. Going to be trying to pump out a tech-heavy army, I think. A lot of Thors and tanks supported by those Marines. We do see some Zerglings coming in at this time. He's sending one to see what's going on, but he does see that Happy does have siege tanks as well, as he's finishing off this wall with a bunker, as well as these supply depots, getting those ever so important +1 upgrades. It looks like combat shield is not started or done, but he does have stem, and he is trying to get his third at this time, moving his command center down and getting another barracks, as well as, let's see, 1 more factory. So 2 more barracks and 1 more factory. Looks like he'll probably be pumping out siege tanks as well as Marines and Thors. Like I said before, he is getting that armory up right there, and he does have quite a bit of gas. He's getting that reactor on the starport, going to be going for those double medevacs, and if his opponent ever techs up to Broodlords, he will be able to pump out double Vikings, try to take care of that. We do see, look at this incredible creep spread by Safari. This is very good, something I'm enjoying, and we do see a drop right here trying to pick off some of these creep tumors. In fact, I think he may have dropped up here a little bit, but he didn't do any damage. Safari was able to pick that off, and he was able to pick off this drop with these Zerglings. However, he did lose quite a bit of creep tumors, but he does have these on the right that will continue to spread throughout the map, and it should be very good for Safari. We do see quite a bit of Banelings coming out at this time for Safari, as well as that Baneling speed, the centrifugal hooks, something very good, as well as a spire, which I do not know where he put the spire. Put it somewhere. There it is. Nope, that's a spine crawler. Well, he is getting a spire. You can see it in the production tab if you don't believe me. Oh, there it is. I've been missing it. So he will be getting up the Baneling Zergling Muta mix that is so deadly for Terran players such as myself. It's quite a good strategy. However, I think Happy is dealing with it quite well, getting a lot of tanks up, as well as getting +1 attack for the tanks, and continuing to get +2 upgrades for his Marines, as well as combat shield. Still producing factories. I think he's going to be favoring the tanks, especially against all those Banelings. His third is now up with double gas, and he knows that this Muta timing He knows the muta timing quite well. 4 mutas are on the way, and he's just now starting to build his turret. In fact, he is probably building, yeah, he has a turret built here in his main, maybe even one in his natural. Nope, none in his natural at this time. But this is very good by Happy, knowing these kind of timings, even building another command center to take a 4th base. I don't know if he will take it here, or if he will opt to take it here. It looks like Safari is gaining control of the middle of the map. Should be able to expand here very shortly with all this creep spread. Tons and tons of creep tumors, keeping this queen very active and low on the energy. That's very good by Safari. I regret what I said at the beginning of the game. Safari is quite a good Zerg player, and I'd like to see more of his games. He's getting up a very nice mix, and he's very good at this creep spread, and very good at defending that early Hellion attack. We do see some Marines going up, going to be poking around, trying to see what they can pick off and see what's going on, as well as a medevac. Might be doing some droppage around the base. He's going to be healing him up a bit with his medevac, just kind of poking around, making sure nothing crazy is going on. Do see that the mutas are now on the way, and they are coming to try to poke in, do some damage at the same time as these Marines going up to try to pick up this queen. But here comes a bunch of Zerglings to take care of these Marines, and the Marines do grow up in the medevac, and he is able to survive another day. But these mutas are coming around to try to pick off these medevacs, and so he's dropping the Marines to try to do some damage, and the Zerglings are coming in. They might get overextended. No, this isn't the siege tank range. This is the sensor tower he has built. He has built a sensor tower right here. And look at that, Happy very good at keeping some Marines on the high ground to make sure that mutas aren't able to poke in at all and do some damage. So Safari says, alright, so far as I have you contained, I'll take a base up here, and I'll take a base down here. So he is going for the 5th base. 5 bases against Happy's 3. He does, however, have a 4th command center in his base waiting to be moved to some location to start mining. But we also see a very nice Thor, siege tank, medevac, marine armor. This is that kind of deadly mix that counters this kind of Baneling, Zergling, Muta deadly mix. He's going to be moving it up to the north position. Look at this, wow. Building a sensor tower as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turrets. 1 bunker here, 2 bunkers over there, sieging up his siege tanks, moving his Thors. This is awesome. This is what I like to see in Terran. I think it's what Terran is good at, this kind of crazy, slowly moving forward and securing these nice little bases, making sure he can protect them. And we do see that Safari does know about this, and he is poking around with his Mutalisks as well as his Zerglings to make sure he can try to shut this down, because he knows if Terran gets this as well as this planetary fortress, he'll have a very solid protected position, and he'll be able to go up and get this watchtower. We do see a Marine going up and getting picked off, trying to pick off some Banelings as well as do some scouting. And Safari sees that this is going to be quite impenetrable, especially with these bunkers and this planetary fortress. We see Happy moving forward, trying to pick off some of the Zerglings and Banelings. They were moving forward, taking out as many Marines as they can. But it looks like Happy is slowly gaining control of it, because siege tanks are moving forward and sieging ever so slowly. The siege tanks are sieging up, and here comes the Zerglings as well as the Banelings. Try to do some damage. The Mutalisks are trying to pick off the Thors, and the Banelings and Zerglings are able to take down a ton of siege tanks and Thors. Zerglings moving down to the low ground, trying to get into the mineral line, but it does look like Happy has quite a bit, and is able to take that out very nicely. We do see the Marines going up, trying to pick off this base now that he has control. Happy being very good at keeping his macro up, sieging his tanks up on the high ground. He will be able to pick off this expansion. Luckily for Safari, he does have a base up here, but Happy did see the drones move up, and he's going to be sending some Marines up. Oh, no, he's not going to be sending Marines up. Ah, I see. It's being attacked back on the high ground at the watchtower. Baneling's coming in and doing a ton of damage, destroying all the siege tanks but 2. He is moving his Marines back in order to protect his siege tanks, but here comes some more Zerglings. They will be able to pick up the siege tank as well as this Marine, and it looks like they might even be able to clean up the rest of this force, killing that siege tank and forcing these Marines to run away. Happy continuing to macro, building more Thors, and even getting some Ghosts. I don't know what the Ghosts will be for. I guess snipe. However, it will be hard for him to snipe those Banelings individually. However, he might suspect some sort of Ultralisk play, because we do see an Ultralisk Cavern on the way, as well as this upgrade, giving them +2 armor, which is quite good. Here comes some more Zerglings. We'll be shot at by this tank, and we'll be able to pick it off, but some more Marines come in with a Thor, as well as another tank, and they will be able to secure this position again. A few Banelings caught up on the high ground. He is sniping the Banelings individually. Wow, very, very good by Happy. And here comes the Banelings and Zerglings. He snipes another one. Wow, very good at his snipes. Very good micro. Picking off all these Zerglings he can. Supplying with more Marines and medevacs, even taking a 5th expansion down here, getting some missile turrets up to make sure that the Mutalisks don't come in and do some damage. And yeah, Happy is just very slowly chewing his way through the center of the map, having a Ghost here to snipe some stuff. But here comes some Zerglings. The Ghost getting almost caught out of position. Could have been picked off there, which would have done some damage to Safari. If we look in the units lost tab though, Safari is quite a bit ahead, only being at about 9,000 resources lost to Safari 1,600. Some more Zerglings coming in, and we see that the Zerglings are just getting crushed by this army. However, he is able to take up destroy Happy's army. Excuse me, I'm losing my words as well as my voice. I'm still a little sick. Safari moving down with some Zerglings to try to do some damage, but there is a planetary fortress here, and he will be able to heal the planetary fortress or repair it with his SCVs, so the Zerglings are going to have to run away or get destroyed, which they are doing right now. We do see that Safari still has a bit in his natural, but his main is just about mined out, and his 3rd is doing alright. And then he has that 4th, but he really needs this 5th, as well as this base. But Happy's moving forward, picking off creep tumors. He feels like he has enough, and we don't see much in the way of an army. We do see 2 Ultras for Safari, but not much else. Not a lot of Zerglings on the field, 22 being produced right now. But Happy is able to get up into Safari's base and start picking off his 3rd. And here comes the Ultras doing some snipes to try to kill the Ultras. Queen doesn't get down time to transfuse, and there's the GG from Safari. Wow, so that was a very cool game between Happy and Safari. Like I said, I'd never heard of Safari before, but I like to see more of his games. He seemed like quite a good Zerg player. But Happy, man, Happy is a great Terran. #1 in Europe ladder. He's just kind of inching his way forward across the map, taking what he can, and getting that watchtower position, and just being able to chip away at Safari's base as well as his army. Was able to win him the game, as well as those wonderful upgrades and his good positioning. So anyway, this was CadoinkStudios, and I'm Cadoink. I hope you enjoyed this replay. More to come, definitely more to come. We've got all sorts of things. And so yeah, please comment below, tell us what we can do better, as well as subscribe to the channel and like the channel and tell your friends about us. We'd like to get some advice, some help. We'd like to give you the content that you guys would like to see, and we're going to continue to do what we love. So we will see you guys later.